She had 3 daughters. She named them after her 3 favorite seasons of the year: spring, autumn, and rabbit. Her father came to Wisconsin and saw a corn maze for the first time. And he thought he was a farmer as well. He thought it was such a great idea, he'd go back to North Carolina and do it himself. Would have been a great idea, but he farmed carrots. He actually got lost in his maze for 3 hours. You know, oh boy, you're gonna like this one. You know, a lot of people fantasize being famous. But I don't just fantasize being famous. I fantasize being super famous. I don't want a street or a town named after me. I want a sexual position named after me. Not just any sexual position, but an extremely difficult and unique sexual position. I got this fantasy, and it kind of goes like this. We get the dream sequence going here. Are you experiencing missionary monotony? Have you got the doggy-style doldrums? Well, why not see if you've got what it takes to try the new sexual position that's sweeping the nation and filling emergency rooms everywhere. That's right, now you can see if you've got what it takes to do it Keith style by ordering the complete book of Doing It Keith Style. This book is fully illustrated with detailed step-by-step instructions to help you master the most erotic sexual position of all times. It's been endorsed by sex gurus Dr. Ruth, Dr. Sue Johansson, and Bill Clinton. When you order, you'll receive the Doing It Keith Style training kit. Each training kit contains an emergency first aid manual, neck brace, back brace, knee brace, hernia truss, 6 ace bandages, and a 30-day supply of Vicodin to help you get started on your way into the exciting world of daredevil sex. And for the first 1,000 to order, you will receive the I Did It Keith Style t-shirt so that you can show the whole world that you've got what it takes. So order your copy online now at www.crackmybackinthesack.com. But that is just a fantasy, because if the truth be known, the only position they are ever going to name after me is this one. Please, honey, can we have sex, please? Woo, a lot of us relating to that, huh? Like when I walked into a convenience store the other day, and this woman was working the register, and I said, "Excuse me, do you sell birth control?" And she gave me this dirty look and said, "No." I said, "My wife has one of those. Do you have anything a little less effective?" I haven't always been the mentally well-balanced individual you see before you today, so you can believe that. I used to suffer from multiple personality disorder, but I went and saw a psychiatrist and he helped me and I got through it. But it was odd, because when I first went to see him the first day, I went to his office and there were the names of all these different doctors on the door. And I thought I was going to be treated by a whole group, but that's when I realized my doctor suffered from the same thing I did. Which wasn't that big of a deal, except on the days when I'd go to see him and he thought he was a gynecologist. Let me tell you something, an hour lying on a couch with your legs up in stirrups can add a whole new meaning to the phrase, "try to open up to me." And when I was in there, I had to attend this multiple personality support group. And while I was there, I met this girl named Valerie. We started to date, but it didn't work out because every time we tried to have sex, she felt like she was being gangbanged. And I told her, I said, if a couple of your personalities would just loosen up, we could have a real wild group thing going. But seriously, when you have multiple personalities, masturbating is group sex. Okay. That was a little off subject here. I was in a bar. The sissy-talking French guy comes up and sits down next to me. And he starts trying to talk to me, and so I just started an argument and just got right to the point. And it gets kind of heated, and I'm getting really pissed off. And finally he's like, "Oh man, you need to settle down. Said, you should take a lesson from the men of France. Said, we are like a fine wine, we mellow with age. I said, really? I said, we men in America are like a good whiskey. It don't matter how old we get, we'll still kick your ass. People call me a hypocrite for telling that joke because I am part French. Very small part. Actually, it is this part right there. I know what you're thinking, just another French asshole. Actually, I had a guy get up and walk out on that joke one time. He starts to leave. I said, excuse me, sir, did I offend you? He says, yes. I said, are you French? He goes, no, I'm an asshole and I don't like you comparing me to the French. I recently, since I'm getting up there in age, I went to a funeral home. I went to a metaphysical funeral home to check into making arrangements. So it was one of those new age ones, you know, like you have in California and stuff. And I found that for $1,800, I could get cremated and the next tickets to a Jimi Hendrix concert. Okay, not all you guys know who Jimi Hendrix was. I should have blown that one. All right. Okay, here's a good one. You ever been to a dentist office? And you go in there, and on the wall, he's got pictures of all these teeth and these mouths that he's worked on. You know, nice smile with the braces and this and that and all this work they did. Ladies, imagine if your gynecologist did that. Your man would want to go with you to every appointment. And I would be the first guy to get kicked out of a gynecologist's office for matching the pictures on the wall with the ladies in the waiting room. Like, hey honey, come here, look at this. This one has an old faded out butterfly tattoo above it. You know, if you squint your eyes and kind of blur them just right, it sort of looks like a pit bull with its tongue hanging out. All the men can relate to this. Had my first prostate exam. I was sitting in my doctor's office. He walked in and he put a rubber glove on one hand. First thought was, why didn't somebody tell me that a digital exam has nothing to do with digital cameras? I sat staring at that hand, and I just stared at it until finally it looked like one of those foam fingers you get at sporting events. And I must have looked really nervous because he said, are you okay with this? I said, well, it just seems so impersonal. He leans over and he looks me in the eye and he goes, would you feel better if I took the glove off? I said, only if you're buying me dinner afterwards. So I dropped my pants, I assumed the position, and I closed my eyes and I went to my happy place. Which, like for most of us, is any place where a guy doesn't have his finger in your butt. And so anyway, it went fast, got it over with, and it went so well that he actually let me keep the glove as a souvenir. I'm just kidding. My wife brings these home from her gynecologist appointment every week. She's seeing this young kid. He must have just got out of medical school or something because he still has to work out of his house. And he buys all his gloves secondhand or something. I think they're factory rejects. There's like, you don't always have all the fingers on them. Hey, can you believe I'm doing it? I haven't run out that door yet, or been thrown out it. What? Okay, now, and I'm gonna wind it down here. The last thing I want to